But that does bring us into chapter 58, which is the World Serpent runestone. So Volke picks up and carries Evianna. When he gets to the top, he realizes, hey, we only dealt with one sea serpent, but there were two. And most likely that other one's hiding at the top of the stairs. So he does use his shadows to lash out at the serpent and take care of it. When he comes out into the room, there's decay dust pretty much everywhere. It ends up breaking his sword, but not his shield. And one of the things that we realize is his shield is made with additional star shards. So it is actually what is called an artifact and is immune to the decay dust. So he still has the shield, but no sword. He carries Evianna up to the throne room, and on his way there, he comes into contact with Captain Rendell, who's at the top, infected with the plague, but still fighting to protect the throne.
And he's there with his unicorn, which is a black variant of the unicorn. That's one of the ones that I didn't remember to put in there with the bestiary, but he does have a black variant, and the unicorn has a twisted horn.
It seems super cool. Like, it just feels so much more badass.
Right. And then his main weapon is the spine of a unicorn with the horn at the end of it. Like, yeah, you can't get more cool than that.
Yeah, he emanates power, that's for sure.
And he's also, this is kind of his last stand. He understands that he's going to end up dead too, but he decides that he's not going to cower. He's going to do everything in his power to take as many with him as he can. So, we commend him for that and for protecting everybody as long as he can.
Yeah, he has a lot of honor that he is holding on to and is willing to do everything. As far as he's come, he's not going to let anything stop him at this point from taking care of the throne and the family. Volke talks with him and actually uses his augmentation to allow Rendell to see in the dark, which is very helpful, and then goes into the throne room. And when he goes into the throne room, everything in the throne room is just kind of hanging in the air. There's a rizzel arcanist in the room, and we realize that this is one of the rizzel powers is to manipulate gravity.
Why hasn't Ilya figured this out yet? And oh my gosh.
Yeah, did they not know what her power was, so they couldn't teach her? Does nobody know where the rizzel power comes from?
I thought it was kind of the usual, okay, here's how you evoke your magic, here's how you manipulate your magic, here's how you augment your magic. So I figured with rizzles it shouldn't be much different, and I know Zelfrey can only do what he's copying, so...
But he seems to know so much that you would think if he would at least play around with it and try and figure out, be like, hey, I know there's a magic power here that we're not using, so let me just try and mess around and see if I can make it work.
Right, like here's how you manipulate things, so, or the feeling that you would get when you're manipulating it. So just try that.
Yeah, try something. So
so that's pretty cool. Gravity.
It is amazing. So you combine, I can teleport and I can control gravity. That's a pretty ball right there.
Right, like there's not much you can't do at this point.
No, there's not.
I mean, if only we knew this when we fought Callisto.
Yeah. Oh, and they get the fire. They can spew fire too.
The disintegrating fire. Like
racking up powers here. We do come across the rizzel arcanist and the rizzel, who is named Meatbag, is absolutely amazing. And unfortunately, this is a dread form rizzel. So it has two heads, its body's interwoven, it's an absolute mess.
I love the name. It's like an NPC that's important, but not important enough to have an actual name, but not unimportant enough to be just like player or your character.
It feels like like I'm playing like original Pokemon and it's like, name your rival. Meatbag. Like, what's the worst name I can think of as a 7-year-old? Yeah, that's about it.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
So, Meatbag and the Arcanist are shooting everyone with plague bullets, so getting the blood there and then firing this revolver around to infect everybody. Volk realizes that gravity doesn't affect shadows, so he actually shadow steps behind them, grabs a sword that's just floating around the room, and unleashes terrors and goes to stab them. He stabs the guy, Meatbag's Arcanist, and Meatbag's response is, "You missed." They remove the cloak, and the rizzel is like sneaking through him. His vital organs are rearranged, so where he should have organs, he doesn't, and he's not actually killed by this stab.
Again, like, apparently rizzel magic just can do what they want now. Like,
all powerful.
Yeah, for being what it is, hecking good.
Yes.
And like this is one of those characters that legitimately creeped me out when I was even the second time rereading this. It creeps me out more than like the ghoul or any other undead character. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a two-headed rizzel, the one head just like snickers really maniacally.
It just feels wrong. Like the ghoul's like, okay, I understand there has to be a dark to offset the good. Like I understand like the underworld piece of it, but the dread form just feels wrong.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. It just feels wrong.
Yes. The meatbag ends up shooting a bunch of rizzel fire at Volk. He blocks it with his shield and ends up reflecting it back and knocks Meatbag and the Arcanist out. He goes to the Queen's room. He decides in his loving nature not to go and make sure that he kills them, which I thought was a strange, live up to your worst trait there.
Don't hesitate.
Don't hesitate. And he hesitated big there. But he heads into the Queen room, and he finds a nullstone box. Evianna helps him open with it.
All I gotta say is, I guess we can figure out who her favorite great grandchild is here.
Yes, she's got all the tricks. She knows every trick in the book here. So inside the box is the runestones, and coming back to haunt him is the rizzel Arcanist and Meatbag. And as they show up, Volk does actually pocket the jade runestone. Meatbag tries to teleport into his body. Also, just feels very wrong.
Maybe this is why Nicklin should not definitely be trying to teleport things in and or out of people's bodies. And Nicklin should be taking notes on this so that next time he has an idea to do a party trick, maybe it shouldn't involve swallowing things and then teleporting them out of the body.
Yeah, I didn't think that part of the story was foreshadowing, but it turns out that it was.
Kudos to you, Shammy. Kudos.
Yeah, that was a hidden gem there that the second time coming around, I was like, oh, that's going to come back to us.
Full circle here. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So while Volk is trying not to have a rizzel teleported into his body, they actually go and grab the trunk with the remaining runestones in it and are going to run away. Volk luckily uses the shadow tendrils to actually grab several of the runestones. So they're split about half and half now between Volk and the enemy. And as the rizzel Arcanist is leaving, he refers to himself as the Second Ascension.
Well, this is one of those moments of just like, if he wouldn't have been sitting there lollygagging around, playing with gravity, making him go in a circle, like, look at me, I got all the runestones, ha ha ha.
He was having a good time and also came back to haunt him. Give me 1 sec. I'm getting terrorized by him. Come on, Gargoyle. Do you want to go take something?
So after he declares he's the Second Ascension, this is where chapter 59, the Requiem Aura, starts up. With that is the end of this week's episode, with a quick reminder that John Stovall will be our guest next week for an interview. Again, he has his own RPG series. He has several series actually in that genre of books. We're so excited to talk to him. We do want to thank everybody for listening. We post every Wednesday morning around 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific. in that we are on all podcasting platforms along with YouTube. So kind of catch us wherever you want. If you want to watch us on video or listen to us in person, Dan Mackison, who is our editor, does a very great job at adding pictures and links to things. So if you want to watch the YouTube, it does have some cool pictures in there. He throws in there for us. So if you want to reach out, you can get us at Gmail at frithguildpod@gmail.com, or reach out to us on Facebook or pretty much any other social media at Frith Guild Podcast. We want to thank the Frith Chronicles Wiki, and that is such a great resource. I know there's going to be a lot of updates coming to it soon whenever the bestiary comes out, so just be on the lookout for that. And Scott, do you have anything else you wanted to add to it?
No, excited to talk to John and get a little more insight into this family of writers.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks all for listening, and we'll see you next week.